There's something I wanted to ask you all today. No, I'm listening, although I can already guess. I'm sure you all recall the accident where Yuki fell from the cliff. I'd like to thank you all for your help during that time. Because of you, she was able to be saved in time and begin recovery. As you may know, at this time, I'm suspected by the police of having pushed her from the cliff. To be perfectly honest, this is a troublesome misunderstanding. I'm sure you all saw her spending time with me very closely the entire day yesterday. Does this really seem like the attitude that she would have towards someone who attempted murder? What? What are you saying? You told her to stay close the entire day to you. Well, that's pretty obvious. That you didn't try to kill her by pushing her off the cliff, at least. If you intended to do so, you wouldn't have come straight to us for help. You would have just gone and finished her off. Besides, that was more of a steep slope than a cliff. That's not good enough for a serious murder. You're extremely cool-headed. I doubt you wouldn't have realized those particular elements. That's why I believe we can trust you in this matter. So, what do you want from us? I'd like you to help me prove my innocence. It seems the police have some sort of evidence that points to me as a suspect, and I'd like to find it. After it's found, I would like to make it very clear that whatever evidence it doesn't show I have criminal intent. And that's the reason why I had this trip arranged for us. If we gathered all the members who were there, we could probably trace that night's events. I'm sure as a group we won't miss any vital clues along the way. That's what I believe. But what should we actually do here? That's right, I don't mind talking about the events of that day, but I don't want to do anything dangerous. It's simple. You all be paired up the same way that you were that day, and go to the same places that you went before. Since it's light outside now, we might be able to see things that we couldn't at night. Since the victim herself wasn't interested in pressing charges, the police haven't done a full-scale investigation yet. I think it's perfectly possible for everyone here to discover some new clues from that event. The same places as that day. Does that mean that you intend to just sit around here? No, just like that night of the accident, I'll go to the cliff with Yuki. Well, that's dangerous. For me. For the victim, I don't trust you. That's okay. Mine and Yukiko. I want to call him Yukiko, but that's not his name. Yukio will come too, right? Yeah. If we're repeating our actions from that night, mine and I searched the top of the cliff after the accident. If it seems like I'm trying anything fishy, feel free to stop me by force. Alright. And if I seem like I'm doing anything weird, you do the same. Huh? You know, just in case. Sure. Yuki, are you okay with this? With that guy? Not so much. Not so much at all. But it's fine. Good. Alright, since Toma and Sawa ran off alone like idiots that night, you two pair up for safety. Don't call us idiots! Anyway, if you find something, don't touch it. Just take pictures. Good luck to all of you. Well, this sounds interesting. I guess, although it looks like I'm doing the search with this dude again, I was hoping that night was the end of that. Well, I'm going to look inside the premises. So, if you want, we could... Let's go, Tomo. Sounds good, Sawa. Yukio and I are gonna go to the cliff, right? It's going to be great working with you all. I'll try not to get in the way. We're going. Well, it's been decided without us. Nobody really made any objections to this. I wonder if they knew this would happen. If they all came here knowing this would happen, I guess they're all kind of curious. At the very least, we can make sure that Shin isn't doing this out of amusement. I wonder what he's after, and what you should do. Wow, this forest is dark even during the day. You probably won't be able to see anything here at night. So, you slipped and fell in a place like this? It must have been really scary. Hey, Yuki. Do you remember anything walking around here? You walked here on that night, too. Listen. The thing I want to do today isn't search for evidence. I want you to reclaim your memories about what happened here. What? That means you... That's... I mean, you want to reclaim your memories too, but... The entire reason I brought you back here at this lodge, even though it could be dangerous. In other words, I want you to remember that it wasn't me who pushed you off the cliff. If you had a shred of doubt, what comes next will be even harder to do, so I want you to try. Shin sure is confident. He's perfectly fine with you remembering what happened. Do you feel the same? Can you believe that Shin had no intention of pushing you? We're here. This is the place. Well, where did you fall? The edge is nearby, right? It's light out, but it's still hard to spot. You're right. It could be dangerous for us to be here looking around for her at night. Well, I'll take a look around. Be careful. I'll go with you. Why is he like undoing his tie? Like, I am just ready. I was thinking of a way to lose them, but they left us alone on their own. It was probably this tree. Stand over here for a second. Ew. Why'd you pick the same room as Sawa, idiot? Swap with mine. I'll leave my room too. What? You thought we were coming here as just friends? You don't think ahead at all. Was this what you were saying before? That's right. I don't remember all the details, but this is good enough. Think. What did you say in response to what? Think. What did you say in response to that? What did you do? What did you say afterwards? You should have heard it. You don't need to be scared. I didn't do anything to try and make you feel afraid. I was just playing around, isn't that right? If it wasn't for that cliff, nothing would have ever happened. Yuki, something like that isn't going to happen again. Don't be scared. It's okay. I said I'd leave my room, but what happened then? What was your reply? After that, I think... Oh, why are you always saying things like that? You always have to make fun of me and make me feel embarrassed. I'm not poking fun at you. I'm asking you seriously. It's actually kind of frustrating that you'd ask a question like that. Why is it frustrating? Just think, doesn't it seem like something I joke about? Do you realize I'm your boyfriend? Besides, you followed me to a dark place like this. You think this is just some field trip? You know I'm always ready to have my way with you. Whoa! Whoa! I'm going back now. What if I said I won't let you? Stop that, don't joke around. Oh, right. And then I ran off. Hey, we didn't come from over there. Don't run, you'll get lost. Shin, you're the worst. Oh, really? Not that it matters. It's fine. You're going to treat me like a friend anyway. Sheesh, you idiot. I told you that's the wrong... Huh? Ah! Yuki! That was so unenthusiastic. I remember. It's not your fault, Shin. Well, it's bad that you were teasing me, but you didn't try to make me fall. There's no mistake in that. You look so pale. Did you remember something? My heart's still racing. It was really scary. Sorry, I'm sure it's still scary, even if you weren't pushed off. Sorry for forcing you to remember this. But I'm glad I remembered. I know for sure now that Shin didn't push me. Now I can trust you completely. Hey, Orion? Orion? Phew, you finally heard me. That was surprising. I suddenly flew really far away from you. That thing you just saw was a memory of this place. It seems like they're releasing the memory that was sealed away out of fear, and it helped you separate. Although it doesn't look like we've completely split yet. Hey, are you okay? Your eyes look focused on somewhere else. Uh-oh, we talked too much while Shin was still here. I'm just super happy to remember. I'm happy too. Back then, even though it was pretty much my fault you fell, you defended me so desperately. It made me really happy. I already endured being looked at with doubt and fear for so long. Thank you for remembering. Yuki, Shin, we found something that looks like the sliding marks. Could you come over here and check this area out? I'll be right there. No, over there is the direction you ran in the memory you remembered. Yep, no contradictions there. That's good. This means they've totally solved the mystery of how you fell off a cliff in the first place. But then who's the culprit Shin was talking about? And what did this person do? If they did push you off a cliff, then does that mean they did something down below? 1 hour later. Alright, I'd like to hear the results of everyone's search. Well, very well, we'll start first. We found markings and tracings that were left by the police at the scene where we found her. They're kind of small, but you can see them from the photos on this camera. These look like bloodstains. They are. Ew, that's gross. The issue is that the bloodstains are in 2 different places. Both stains are in a relatively wide area, so it's likely she laid collapsed in both of them for a decent period of time. If there are 2 places, does that mean she woke up and moved to a different spot without knowing? Although that theory is a bit reaching, that could explain it. How does this explain any sort of malice intent, though? Someone moved her. The most interesting of these were the bloodstains on the rock nearby. The blood appears to have been smeared. She received a blow from the back of her head, right? The position of her head was right where it would have hit. She received a blow from the back of her head, right? The position is right for her head to have been hit with it. Couldn't she have been hit on the head when she fell? I mean, that wouldn't be strange. That doesn't explain it. The traces of her sliding down the slope led to the other bloodstain. So you're saying that she woke up and moved to the other spot and then fell and hit her head? It's still reaching, but more probable it would have explained her head trauma. You woke up and moved. Shin, you came for me. But I think the reason the police suspect malice intent isn't based off this. If you think about it, the blow from the back of the head wasn't something that happened from merely sliding into a rock. There's a possibility that the suspect came to check on her to see if she was still alive after falling, and was shocked to see her still awake, and then shoved her into the rock in an attempt to finish her off. That's what I would imagine, personally. That's terrible. Well, what do you think, Shin? Were you asked anything like that by the police? Yeah, they did ask me that, I see, so that's why. Hey, you already knew that. I'd like to add one more thing. Even if someone committing this crime, it doesn't seem like it was deliberate. I couldn't find any effort of trying to hide the bloodstains. I see. Thank you for that detailed analysis. That was very helpful. Unfortunately, we haven't managed to prove your innocence. I suppose so, but I didn't expect it to be so easy. What about your group when you went to check the top of the cliff, right? Well, we really didn't find much. Let's see, we found traces of her sliding off, and then asked if it matched her memory, and that's all. What we did see for sure is how she... What? Was he planning this? I can't tell. What we did see for sure was how well she and Shin were getting along. The lodge owner and I didn't really find anything, so we came back. What about you two? Saw one, Tomo? Well, you see... Did you find something? We acted separately that night, so we kind of just happened to wander around trying to remember what we did. But we found something pretty crazy a ways from the scene. Here, look at this picture. Bloody handprint? It really does look that way. We found them here and there. I wonder if that's Yuki's blood. It's pretty likely. Then why have we not just gotten that tested? If not, that means someone else was bleeding pretty badly around here. Also, we found a bunch of footprints that looked like someone had walked around the area here. They had worn away quite a bit, but they looked like they walked in the same place over and over, so it was hard to distinguish the shoe prints. The police might be able to figure it out. Well, I think so too. Alright then. We should submit this evidence to the police. Oh wait just a minute. This makes it sound like there really is a culprit. Didn't we all come here just to search for evidence to prove your innocence, Shin? What are all these hand and footprints? It's almost like the person who pushed Yuki was shaken and wandered around confused. Yeah, that sounds about right. What about that evidence? What about that evidence is enough to prove anyone's innocence? This looks like evidence that Shin committed the crime. This evidence is to show that there really was a culprit. That does nothing to show that I'm the one who did it. Don't make excuses. If it wasn't you, then who was it? No idea. Maybe it was you. Anyway. Now we can say with near certainty there was a culprit behind this incident. The culprit had a reason for knocking Yuki out, then fled upon the scene while still upset. Seeing how clearly they were shaken, they didn't care about leaving foot and handprints behind and returned home. You have no idea why they didn't come forward. They might have just watched the police take me away. Well, of course, your clear understanding of what happened makes it highly likely that you're a suspect. I heard an interesting story that she could have been conscious after falling. What, really? I don't know for sure. We should ask her. Yuki, do you have any memories of that time right before you were rescued? Someone tried to help me, and I don't remember. Someone tried to help me. So then who did it? She doesn't seem to remember. The only thing she can recall is hearing someone call her name and getting up. We don't know who that person was. But it's almost certain that whatever happened was enough to strike a nerve in the culprit. But if she had fallen from the cliff and was injured, it was likely she was asking for help. It wouldn't be normal for her to say something hurtful to the person without trying to do that. That's just something we need to think about. You never know what could have caused someone to snap. Well, this is all too vague. Is it possible that you pushed her off the cliff intending to harm her and then noticed she was still alive and tried to finish her off? That way of thinking would explain this more easily, don't you think? Might be easier, but it wouldn't make sense. Everything we've talked about says that her falling was not intentional. Even Yuki, the victim, has been denying that from the very beginning. Yeah, I think we can say for sure that falling off the cliff was an accident. But can we really say the same about what happened afterwards? But still, everything we talked about makes sense. Shin, this is really suspicious. Yeah, I admit that suspicion is kind of... Yeah, I admit it, the suspicion is kind of on me. Not just a little, no one else had the time to do anything like that to her. You had as much time as you needed before calling us, but everyone else went off to search for her at the same time. No, we weren't all together. If you remember, Sawa and Toma went off on their own. What? That's terrible. Are you suspecting Sawa now? So it's okay to suspect me. I'm not suspecting anyone in particular, just noting the possibilities. Just like Shin had the opportunity to commit the crime, Sawa and Toma had their chance as well. While I was gathering everyone and giving directions, they had plenty of time to themselves. Just for the sake of fairness, I also say that the possibility of Inky and I did as well. We're the ones who sent everyone off in the various places. Nobody would have seen us commit the crime. Now then, who exactly was it that committed the crime? Well, thank you very much for your fair and unbiased comments. Let's leave the rest of the police. I doubt we'll get anywhere if we try to discover who the culprit is now. Well, that's true. The sun is starting to set. We should all just go home tomorrow. Let's copy the photos and the evidence and then have Kent and Yukio and Myself, I'll hold on to a copy. That way, regardless of who the culprit was, it will be able to reach the police through someone. Did you manage to find anything where you were looking for? Thanks to everyone. I don't like this. I didn't intend to come here for something like this. Sorry, mine. I came exactly here for this.